Welcome back to Murder with the Missus. I'm Darren.
And I'm Amy. And today we're going to tell you about Amy Mullis.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Check out the description for the links of all of our podcast platforms, Cash App, and Buy Me a Coffee. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tell your friends. Welcome back, everybody.
Yes.
We have been getting a lot of subscribers in. Thank you.
Thank you.
But with the St. Patty's Day drawing coming up, when you guys subscribe, don't forget to comment clover, shamrock, or put a clover, 3-leaf, 4-leaf, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a GIF, meme, a video, I don't care. Whatever you guys want to do. I like funny things, but it's got to be one thing, or just give me the word clover and that'll enter you to win. So each platform that you guys subscribe to, that's an entry. That equals one entry. And then whenever we do the live, that's going to get you, when you guys show up, I'll see you guys up on the screen. That gets you 2 more.
Yep. Those. And so it's courtesy of MyLaundrySolutions.com. We're going to go live this Saturday, which is March 15th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to cover a St. Patrick's Day case too. So we're going to do that and pick winners, I guess, throughout the live.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do, we're going to do a little drawing, or we're going to spin the wheel, or we're going to figure out something. I got another week to figure this out. But once we pick the winner, basically all you got to do is give me your cash tag or whatever, however you want it. And
drinks on us. We're
going to send it over to you. And then you guys can have a great time.
Yeah. And so it's 5 lucky winners are going to win $50 cash. Well,
and it's $50
electronic
USD.
cash. Yeah.
$50. American dollars. So if you guys are overseas, or
it might convert different.
Whatever it converts to. I mean, I know 50 should be 50, but I don't know.
We don't have doubloons.
I don't get out of the States very often, so.
Ever. We've never been out of the States.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. Like we said, get all your entries in, get everything going. You've only got a week left. But yeah, you can message us, or we'll try to get a hold of you so we can get your cash tag and get you some money sent out to you.
Yep.
So here you go. All right.
Yeah. So make sure you guys join us on that live.
Yeah.
Get that green.
For St. Patrick's Day.
You need green. Patty's Day.
On to the case.
Yep. Let's see it.
Now, this is an older one, but it's also a current one at the same time. Some of you may have already heard of this one. It's kind of hard to forget. Mm-hmm. And it's another one that sticks out. And this has already been on trial, so it will have a conclusion. Or will it? Because it's been back in court in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Cue music.
Yeah.
It's been back in court the last couple of weeks, so now we're going to talk about it.
All I have is banjos.
Okay, skip it.
Yeah, so we can't cue that.
Veto. Now, Todd was raised farming, and he loved it. So much so that he bought his own farm in 1999. Now, this is in Earlville, Iowa, and you've spent quite a bit of time in Iowa, so you probably know that it's pretty farm heavy around there.
Yep, lots of corn.
Lots of crops, lots of farmers.
Corn, lots of corn.
Just corn is life.
Yep.
In Iowa.
Yep.
But farming is life to a lot of people, and Todd was no exception. In 2003, he met Amy at the Delaware County Fair, and they hit it off and got married in 2004. Now, Amy moved out to Todd's farm with him, and they would go on to have 3 kids. Amy would help at the farm, but she worked as a nurse at Regional Medical Center in Manchester. Todd was pretty busy because he would end up owning 3 farms and part of another one.
So did he have crops, or did he have animals too?
Well, he had a little bit of everything throughout the years, but he was currently doing crops and hogs. They talk about hogs all the time. So
hog farmer.
Yes. Now, between his stuff, his brothers, and his dad's, they did a lot because they would help each other out on each other's farms because they lived very close to each other. And that's just what you do around here. Mullis Farms, the one that Todd and Amy lived on, had 2 big hog barns, a big red shop building that they used for like farm equipment, a small red shed, some silos. You get the idea, farm shit. Now, it was in 2013 that our story takes a turn. Amy had an affair with someone that she met at work. Of course, this caused problems in the relationship, but a friend of theirs suggested that maybe they should just try some counseling instead of breaking up. And that seemed to help because they ended up staying together. But things were quite a bit different moving forward. Todd had always been more of a homebody. Of course, farming is hard work, Most farmers are working 7 days a week and all day long. They usually farm, eat, and sleep, especially during harvest. Amy, though, she liked to be out and about. But after the affair, she quit her job to be a stay-at-home mom. Now, she did still leave the farm to do things, but she spent a lot more time at home. This is obviously something talked about in court because some people said that this was Amy's choice. She did it to focus on the kids, her relationship with Todd, to help with the farm, all the things. But some say that it was not her choice, that this was a stipulation of Todd's because of the affair. That now, when she did leave the house, he actually timed her. Like, if you're going to the store, it should take you this long to get there, this long to get home, shit like that.
30 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she had to keep him up to date on where she was and who she was with at all times. Amy allegedly told friends that this was Todd's requirement. These friends nicknamed her Pot for prisoner of Todd.
Well, that's just messed up.
Yeah.
And it's too much work.
That is a lot of work. Keeping up with somebody like that.
Yeah. I mean, why not just get divorced and just be done?
Yeah.
At that point, I mean, he obviously didn't trust her.
Obviously.
So.
And once the trust is gone.
Yeah, it's like, why continue to live like that?
What's the point?
Was he afraid of losing part of his farm?
Funny you mention it.
No.
Because someone's always going to be miserable in an instance like that. And Todd's mom said that he really wanted to make it work. And she knew that because he told her, I'm not going to lose my farm and what I've worked for.
And there it is.
There it is.
Yep.
He didn't want her taking half of everything. And it may not have even been half realistically because Iowa is not a 50-50 state. It's an equitable distribution state. So they look at what's fair. But it is also a no-fault state, so her affair wouldn't have counted against her. He just didn't want to part with any of his property, and so divorce was not an option for Todd. Now, we're going to go jump ahead 5 years later to 2018. This year was full of trouble. Todd was looking at the phone bill when he noticed that Amy had a lot of communication with Jerry. Now, Jerry was the field manager at Mullis Farms, and he helped oversee the hog operation. He is married with 2 kids, but Todd couldn't understand why he saw 128 text messages between Amy and Jerry. So he started asking questions. Amy said it was all farm stuff and kids' activities. I think their daughters were in gymnastics together or something like that. But Todd confronted Jerry, and he denied anything nefarious. Nothing's going on. Sleep with Amy? Gross. Never. Wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole, Todd didn't like that answer, so he went to Jerry's wife. But she didn't believe it either. I mean, her and Jerry have a happy marriage. There's no way he's having an affair.
So they were having an affair.
And we know that now. Todd would spend a lot of time in his defense saying that he believed Amy and Jerry, and he didn't think that they were sleeping with each other behind his back. He even called Jerry's wife a couple of days after that and apologized for even accusing him of it. But he also talked to Amy's stepmom, a friend, and a coworker, saying that Amy was acting just like she had the last time she had an affair. Someone suggested that maybe they should just go ahead and split up. And Todd said, I have worked for this farm since I was 11, and I will not give it up. Amy did tell her friends that she was sleeping with Jerry, and even the friends said that Todd is not someone that you want to mess with, and that he was going to kill her if he found out. Amy told them that if she ever went missing, to look for her in the new timber. So everybody knew this was going to be a problem. Even their oldest son, Tristan, said Todd would kill her if she had an affair. And there were, of course, rumors going around that Jerry and Amy were messing around. And Jerry did testify that they would meet on back roads, sometimes get a hotel room. Some people probably noticed things. Amy used this to her advantage by telling Todd that this was all just rumors. It's just town gossip. Nothing to see here. Now, by July, Amy was done. Not just that she wanted to leave Todd for Jerry. I don't think that Jerry had any plans to leave his wife at that time. But Amy was saving up money and looking for places to live for herself. She said Todd didn't want a divorce because he would lose half of everything, and that was socially unacceptable.
I mean, people get divorced all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
But they talked about him being worried that he would be looked at like he was a failure or something. But then her grandmother passed away, and she had her brother store Grandma's plastic-covered couch, I'm assuming. She had him store all of her furniture so that she would have something when she left Todd, something she could use. Shortly after that, her uncle suffered a brain bleed, so she was spending a lot of time helping take care of him, and she was away from the farm. And that made Todd stressed out because he had hogs going out, he had piglets coming in, he was picking up the slack with the kids, and it was during harvest. A month later, so this puts us at November 6th, Amy had a procedure done. Now, there was a lot of question as to what she really had done, but it was supposed to be an ablation. So according to Todd, she had heavy menstrual cycles, and this was to help with the bleeding. It was an outpatient procedure, so Todd took her to the hospital, brought her home the same day, and she was under a 10-pound lifting restriction, but she was at home and resting for a few days. On November 10th, a friend texted her to check on her, and Amy responded, "Thanks. Okay. Things still very tense around here. Just not sure of anything anymore." So, sounds like things were not okay at home. That morning, Todd and their oldest son, which would be 13-year-old Tristan, left the farm to go check on some hogs. Amy cooked breakfast while they were gone, so they ate when they got home. And then Todd and Tristan went out to the hog barn to get it ready for those piglets that were coming in. And Amy wanted to help, so she went with them. Now, these hog barns are about 100 yards long, so the length of a football field. They're big. You might be able to see them in the picture. So the two long white things at the bottom of that picture on the screen. And they gave Amy the duty of cleaning the light fixtures. She texted Jerry at 10:12 a.m. saying, "Do you know what I'm doing today? Cleaning fucking light fixtures in the barn. WTF."
She asked to help, and now she's complaining about it?
Yeah, that's what they say. Now, I don't know what she wanted to do, but she was pushing it being out there to begin with, unless she didn't ask to help. You know what I mean? Maybe she was asked to help. Maybe somebody told her to come help. So that's up in the air. A few minutes later, they all went to the North Hog Barn. Todd was setting up nipple feeders in the pens. Tristan was bringing heaters from a storage area to the pens, and Amy was still cleaning light fixtures. She was balancing on a 5-gallon bucket and kept having to get down and kind of recalibrate because she was having dizzy spells, so she was unsteady on that little bucket. They're not very big.
Yeah, I mean, she should have been in the house. I mean, she wasn't ready to do all that.
It sounds like it. It sounds like she was not back to normal yet. But according to Todd, she wanted to be out there, and they would tell her to go inside, but she wouldn't do it. So Todd suggested that she go and get the pet carrier out of the red shed instead. They were going to be using the skid loader later, and they would have to move some equipment in and out of the shop building to get to it. And they had some orphaned kittens that they didn't want to get hurt. So the idea was to put the kittens in the pet carrier while they moved the equipment around. Now, the pet carrier weighed about 10 to 15 pounds. So he told her to either take it to the shop building across the yard, or if she couldn't carry it, to just leave it outside for them. And then she needed to go on in the house with the 2 younger kids. So Amy headed out. Todd and Tristan worked in the barn for about another hour and a half together. Tristan took over cleaning those light fixtures, and he initially told the police that he was with Todd the whole time, but eventually he did say that he went and got a drink in the small office a couple of times, and he couldn't say how long he was out of Todd's sight for. But he did eventually see that the pet carrier was not outside. So Todd told him to go get it out of the shed.
So how did they know it wasn't in the shop?
Exactly. I wondered that too. He told her to take it to the shop building or leave it outside. So why immediately think that it's still in the red shed? It's just something else to keep in mind. Tristan goes into the shed and then yells for Todd. Amy is on the ground, face down, in what's described as like a fetal position, but on her knees, her arms under her, face is on the ground, and there's a corn rake sticking out of her back.
A corn rake.
A corn rake. Tristan checked for a pulse and to see if she was breathing, but Amy was unresponsive. Todd ran over and told Tristan to go get the truck. Now, this is a very cramped area. There are totes and big augers around, so Todd can't move her with that rake sticking out of her back. So he leans her against his arm and with his other arm pulled the rake out of her.
With one hand?
With one hand.
Was it all the way through?
The tines were sticking out of her chest. It was all the way through. Tristan had come with the truck by this point, and he says that he did see Todd pull that rake out of her. He got in the passenger side of the truck, and Todd put Amy on Tristan's lap, then jumped in the driver's side and headed towards the hospital. He called 911 on the way at 12:01 p.m. He told the operator that Amy fell on a corn rake. She told him to pull over and start doing CPR. Tristan got out of the truck and stood by the road to flag down the first responders while Todd laid the passenger seat down and started doing chest compressions.
In the truck?
Inside the truck, yes. Now, a deputy arrived on scene and took over CPR. An ambulance got there along with some bystanders. And that's when Todd realized that he had left the other two kids at home. So he called his mom to go over there. Now, I mentioned earlier that they lived very close to each other, and his whole immediate family lives within 3 to 5 miles of each other, so she could get there fast. One of those looky-loos took Tristan back to the house with the cops so that they could take a look at where this happened. Another person drove Todd to the hospital. Amy would sadly be pronounced dead at the same hospital that she used to work at. The medical examiner noticed that Amy had injuries to her chin, her cheekbone, knees, and the knuckles on both hands. Her chin had both crushing and scraping components, but there was no debris in the wound from hitting a surface. Now, because Todd had said she fell on a corn rake, the ME asked to see it. And this is when he noticed a pretty big problem. The corn rake has 4 tines.
That's typical.
That's typical.
Yeah, and I want to pull up the case pick.
Yeah, pull it up so you can see it. So the corn rake is in the bottom.
If you're watching the video, it's at the bottom of the case pick here on the right.
So you can see it. It has 4 tines.
Yeah.
Tell me why she had 6 puncture wounds in her back.
Oh, so did it twice.
Mm-hmm. It's actually 5 in her back and 1 kind of over to the side. Now, he called in the state forensic pathologist to have a look, and they determined that if she fell on that corn rake, she would have had to fall on it multiple times. Or the alternative would be that someone impaled her with this rake multiple times. Either way, it doesn't add up, but it definitely looked suspicious. So they classified her death as a homicide.
Yeah, somebody was swinging it.
Swinging. She said that the damage to Amy's left hand could be defensive wounds, consistent with a struggle. She had blunt force trauma to her chin, cheek, and ear. The punctures on her back had 2 different wound paths, with 2 at a slightly upward angle and the other 4 at a slightly downward angle. So now they really know that this is multiple times this has gone into her back. Police seized Todd's electronics, including the iPad that he kept in his tractor. He had a camera system with 2 cameras. Now, no video from the camera pointed at the red shed could be recovered. The video from the camera pointed at the yard between the buildings had a gap from October 29th to the day after the incident, November 11th.
Yeah.
Todd said that the day after Amy died on November 11th, family was at the house and someone mentioned that, hey, what about your cameras? Did they catch anything? Maybe someone came and did this to her. So Todd went to check it out and it wasn't in its place on the windowsill. The cats must have knocked it over. So he put it back right, and that's why the video started again on that day. Police couldn't determine if it was turned off or if the footage was actually deleted from that machine. But let's talk about the search history they found on Todd's Google account. So this would have come from his phone or his iPad, anything he was logged into. The searches include: did ancient cultures kill adulterers?
Good Lord.
Thrill of the kill.
Thrill of the kill.
Thrill of the hunt.
Wow.
Famous quote, no thrills like that of hunting man. Killing unfaithful women. What to do with large open chest wounds. And organs in the body. Now, the organ one was searched 4 days before her murder.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, on the stand at trial, Todd said that they watch a lot of the History Channel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm always watching the History Channel, on what you do with open wounds on a chest.
Well, that part he said was because his daughter was taking her hunter safety course.
Mm-hmm.
And then that search about the organs was the day that Amy had surgery, and their daughter was asking questions about it.
Sure.
So they're like, so she's having an ablation done, and you Googled where organs are in the body to show her what was happening? Like, it didn't make sense. And these were all searches done by everyone in the family, according to Todd. They all had the password and access to the iPad, so everyone used to look stuff up if they had questions about what they were watching or Amy's surgery.
So the kids looked up, killing an unfaithful woman.
Right? It could have been anybody.
Yeah. Or the thrill of the hunt.
The thrill of hunting man. And yeah, it could have been anybody. Mm-hmm.
Sure, buddy.
Now, this county doesn't do many homicide cases. Amy's was only the fourth one they'd had in 10 years. So they called in special agents with the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation to assist. Jerry was ruled out as a suspect because he lived 45 minutes away and his cell data put him at home all day. One thing that the defense pointed out was that his phone would have been home all day. Doesn't mean that Jerry was home all day. But his family says that they did morning chores and then watched football. So he had an alibi. They couldn't put anyone else at the home that day, and they didn't believe that Tristan did it, so Todd was arrested. Prosecution said that Todd impaled Amy, then went back to work in the hog barn and let her die in the red shed. And that would also mean that he had sent his 13-year-old son to be the one who found her.
Well, that's just a little fucked up.
That's messed up. Now, Todd said that it would be impossible for him to run 50 plus yards inside the hog barn, exit a double latch door on the east end of the barn, sprint 150 yards to the red shed, murder Amy, and then run back, all while Tristan was getting a drink. Now, Tristan said that Todd didn't seem winded or upset any time that they met each other again that day. So he'd go get a drink, come back, and it's not like he was sweating in the corner. He looked fine. But they point out that he's also in 8th grade at this time, and he had been through a trauma, so he couldn't be expected to remember every little detail. Another interesting thing that prosecution brought up in court was the 911 call. They played certain parts for him and say that you can hear him in between chest compressions whispering things. I forgot to put the audio in here, so I will tell you.
Yeah, I was like, I say where you said play audio. I'm like, I have no audio.
It's my bad. That's my bad.
911, how can I help you?
So in the audio, you can hear all the commotion. You can hear he's obviously doing something because he's out of breath. He's winded. But then you can barely hear him whisper something. And the prosecution is like, did you hear that whisper? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, what did you say? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know. And so she's like, oh, let me play it again. And so she plays it again. And she goes, is that where you said cheating whore?
Wow.
Yeah. And he's
Dang,
like,
I kind of wish we had it now.
I know. I totally forgot.
Can you play it on your phone?
I can.
All right. So it's not normally what we do. Normally we record it on here, but
he wants to know.
I want to hear it. So, I mean, it might be the worst thing we've ever done, but it can't. Well, no, it can't be the worst thing we've ever done.
No, we've done some terrible things. I'm just kidding.
Can't be that bad of an idea.
I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm. Cheers.
All right. Let's see if this plays.
Publish a clip of the 911 tape.
Yes, go ahead.
And just for the record, Judge, this is State's Exhibit number 2. Now, Todd, here I'm gonna play you the part where you're doing the chest compressions, and I'm just gonna ask that you listen in between the chest compressions, okay? Now, Todd, did you just hear that whisper at the end of that?
Yes.
And what did you whisper?
I couldn't hear it.
Okay, I'm gonna play it again. Todd, do you whisper cheating whore right there?
No.
So you don't remember what you whispered?
No.
Okay, I'm going to play another clip for you.
Wow.
Hang on, there's more.
Do you know what you whispered there?
No.
Did you hear that? So I'm going to play that part one more time. The first clip is 6:53 of that second tape. And this second one is right at 0700. Just try to listen really closely. I just want to know if you remember what you said. Right there, do you say go to hell, cheating whore?
No.
So you don't hear that?
No.
You didn't hear at 6:53 cheating whore.
Good night.
You didn't hear that.
I didn't hear that word.
And it's right at that, after you hear a ping, you don't hear go to hell, cheating whore.
No.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was just calm about it, like, no, nope, don't remember that. I don't think I said that. Yes. So needless to say, Todd was convicted of Amy's murder in 2020, and he was given a life sentence. Now, on the stand at the trial,
Well, yeah, that right there getting
that
pretty much sewed it up. Didn't it?
it was pretty. The cheating whore part you can clearly hear.
Wow.
To me, I can clearly hear it. The other part was kind of muffled, but that first part, yeah, it was definitely. You should have seen Darren's face when he first.
When I first seen it, I was like, oh my God.
Now, on the stand at the trial, starting with the opening statements, his defense attorney pushed that this was a murder, but Todd didn't do it. When the prosecution cross-examined Todd, he conceded that, yes, someone killed her. Now, he tried to appeal, saying that, no, this was an accident. I never wanted to say that she was murdered, even though he did. But he lost that appeal. But we were back in court the other day for a post-conviction hearing because he is now trying to get a new trial. So I watched all week while his new team of lawyers pulled out all the new evidence. Well, not really new evidence. Basically the shit that his attorney should have done at the first trial. And they talked about the affairs. One was even with one of the deputies. There was no blood spatter on the walls or surrounding area to show that there was cast off, which you expect to see if someone is repeatedly impaled. And then she had been wearing a pink Carhartt coat that did not have 6 holes in it. It only had 4. How is that possible? They brought in their own experts. Like I said, something his original attorney should have done and did not. So
he was saying it was murder. So why is he bringing in experts?
Right. Why would the attorney bring in experts if they're going with the murder route and not accident route?
Yeah.
So it made sense that he wouldn't. And that's the point that they're pushing to get ineffective counsel for his first trial. Now he's trying to show that this was an accident. Todd's sister testified in the recent hearing that the OG attorney didn't even tell them that this was the defense he was putting on. It was like a surprise to them when he brought it up in his opening statement. Even Todd was surprised. So these experts that they brought in now refer to the 6 wounds with letters A, B, C, D, E, and F. The new ones agreed with the parts of the original pathologist's stance, saying that the wounds are, where they are. Everything's right. There are 6. And that Amy would have had to fallen on the rake 2 or 3 times to get those wounds. But that's pretty much where they stop agreeing. The defense's pathologist, Dr. Hammers, says that wounds E and F are the same, but they are different than A, B, and C, and different from D. So since those 3 sets are all different, that's why they believe she could have fallen on this rake 3 times. Now, D was a little bit of the odd man out because there's literally, it's on kind of her side, and there was no defect in her gray shirt that she was wearing where D would have been on her body. So there's no hole in the shirt, but there's a hole in her. Tell me how. Now, Dr. Hammer says that the injury to the jaw, she had a huge, that was a big thing, could have been from her chin being against a hard surface for a period of time. Like she was laying in kind of a fetal position with her face on the floor. So they're saying that could have caused it. It's like a pressure mark. And that the bruising on or behind the ear could have been caused by the multiple earrings that she was wearing that day. The eye damage could have been caused by life-saving efforts. I don't understand that one. Maybe somebody can explain that to me, how your eye gets damaged from CPR, but okay.
Was it like blood vessels?
No, it was like it was like almost like she had been hit. Yeah. So they were like, how? And the damage to her hands, remember she had knuckle damage on both hands. They said that that was from her cleaning those light fixtures. Now she says that the cause of death is actually a pneumothorax. So wounds E and F, those last two, those punctures were small holes allowing air to come into the left side of the body, but it couldn't come out. And so that's what caused her death, and that it should have been ruled as an accident, even though she agrees that Amy would have had to fall in that rake 3 times. I just
can't see how that could have happened.
Same.
I mean, because like you said, it went all the way through.
So when they found her, there were 2 tines in her and 2 tines out, and those 2 tines were sticking out the front of her chest. Yeah.
I just don't, and she fell on it.
They explain it.
Pulled it out of herself, and then fell on it again, pulled it out of herself, and fell on it again.
They actually break it down. I'm going to break it down for you.
I don't see how.
We're going to see.
Yeah.
All right. So this pathologist, when she was asked, how could this happen? Like Darren's asking, she couldn't tell him the how part of it because that was out of her realm of expertise. So in comes the biomedical engineer. The way she explained it is that there wouldn't be enough force for someone to be able to swing the rake and cause the damage. Neither could someone have pushed her and her fallen onto the rake. Because she said when pushed, your body rotates. So like if you come up to me and you put both hands and apply pressure to my shoulders are going to go back before the rest of me does. You know what I mean? So your body is rotating. And as your body would rotate, of course, the wounds would be different than the wounds that Amy actually had. She had to go straight onto it. Now, she did say that when you hyperextend your back, it bunches together, right? So then if you're punctured one time, it can actually make more than one mark when you straighten back out and flatten your back out. Okay. So her theory is that she fell onto the rake and got wounds A, B, and C. Then she had to try to roll over because the rake handle is down her back and onto her butt. So she couldn't have bent to get up any other way. As she rotates to the side, C came out and caused D because it's on her side. Now she could have tried to pull the rake out, like Darren said, as indicated by the blood that was on her hand and on the handle of the rake. Now, as she's trying to pull it out, it changes the direction of the tines. Then she collapses or falls again, causing wounds E and F. And that's how she was found, with E and F still in her. Now, because A and D, or A through D, were slightly downward and E and F were slightly upward, that's why they think she got it partially out, but then fell back onto it, which would also explain why there was only 4 marks on the coat, because she wouldn't have been able to pull it all the way out of her. And so the initial 4 would be the only marks on the coat. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Right. Now, like I said, I watched this trial all week and last Monday, and the takeaways for me were that I'm not a fan of this judge, that you can find an expert for just about any damn thing, and that Todd, I think he actually has a good chance of getting a new trial.
Yeah, but see, I just don't understand how you said that they couldn't swing.
That according to the biomedical engineer.
I mean, if you look at this picture, it's hooked. So
yeah, they come up.
So they come up and they're hooked like this.
Yes.
Which means you can.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You could, but they're saying there would not have been enough force because, I mean, it literally went through her breast implant. So, I mean, it had to go all the way through.
I don't think it's unheard of. Or it was hanging up and he grabbed her, picked her up, and
yeah, but then that would be one. Then how'd the other marks get there?
And then maybe she fell off and then he
left her. He could have done that and then left her.
Yeah.
And then she could have tried to get herself up and caused all the other damage. That could have happened.
Yeah.
Because he had just found that rake in the yard like a week before that and put it in the shed.
Yeah. Well, I'm convinced that He was swinging that thing.
So the biomedical engineer claims that it would have to be laying down, and then she would have had to have fallen onto it. And then it happened the way she said it.
Well, then he picked her up and slammed her down on it. Or he picked her up and slammed her into it.
Yeah. I don't know. This one is one of those things that immediately my brain goes, no, she didn't do this to herself.
Yeah.
But
does your brain immediately go to on a 911 call and be like, yo, you
cheating whore? Nope.
You cheating whore?
No.
No.
But this is just to see if he can get a new trial. So if the judge thinks that this is legitimate evidence that this could be a possibility, she could say he can have a new trial. Mm-hmm. And then we go through the whole thing again and see what happens. Yeah. But I don't know. I didn't like this judge to begin with, like I said.
What did that judge ever do to you?
Oh, she didn't do anything to me. But she was very laid back. Like she even talked slow.
Yeah.
And she took a lot of breaks. Like there was, every time I turned around, they were on break. And I know I'm judging the judge, but damn.
That's...
What?
That's a lot of judges.
I mean, this just drove me nuts to watch this because they'd say something and she'd go, well, I'm going to allow that. And it's like, oh my God, did you just wake up? Have some coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, it's really hard to get a new trial, but his lawyer in the first trial didn't seem to do him any favors. He did go with this being a murder, and Todd did admit to the prosecutor that someone did do this to her. So the judge could say that he went along with it. You know, kind of like you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. But this new herd of attorneys came with receipts. Like they had emails and shit from Todd to the attorney saying that they needed experts for this and that. So that makes it look like he was trying to show this was an accident. Mm-hmm. So I think it really could go either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And like I said, we don't know anything until they meet back up on April 8th at 4:30 to do the final briefing. I was so pissed because after all that, they're like, all right, see you in a month. I need closure, damn it. So I could have waited for another month to do this case, but now that I'm back to being all involved in it, I wanted to tell you about it. So here we are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can always do an update in April.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll probably do that. We'll just come back.
We'll see if, they have more 911 calls come up.
That really got him.
Yeah.
Because if she says no, then it's no big deal. This is over. He's going to stay in prison. But if the judge says yes, then it's going to be a little bit before he actually gets his trial. So either way, we're caught up, right? That's how I'm going to look at it.
Yeah, for now.
For now. Now I know how Darren feels about it. I can already tell. I could tell through this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just stupid. I mean, the dude felt the type of way. I mean, I understand that. I mean, whatever, but that farm isn't everything. Obviously, you built that farm.
Right.
You could start over.
He's got 3.
Yeah. Or you know what? You could just buy her part out.
That's probably all she'd want. She don't want a farm.
Yeah, I mean, obviously she didn't want to do the bulbs and stuff. So I mean,
she was not about that life.
You could offer her so much money and been like, all right,
exactly.
See ya.
Exactly. People do it every day. So, anyways, we do want to give a quick shout out to Billy and Jenny. We want to say we appreciate you guys so very much.
Oh yeah, thank you guys.
You guys are awesome. Now, if you like our content, please subscribe, like, share. We do have a Cash App, which apparently is hard to find. I tried to change it to hashtag MWTMpod because I don't think that they like the word murder being in our hashtag, and that might have been the problem this whole time. Or you can try our email at dna.truecrime@gmail.com. And if you're having trouble, just message us and we can send you the link, or the link is also in the description on our YouTube and Facebook channels.
Yeah, or we also have Buy Me a Coffee at buymeacoffee.com/MWTM. And don't forget to tell your friends, as always.
As always. And that's it.
Sorry. I was reading past the end and everything, and it was like, it says like court docs. And
it's my sources, my list of sources.
I thought there was more. Anyway, that was funny. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. And don't forget to make sure that you guys subscribe, put me that clover, that shamrock, that 4-leaf, that 3-leaf. I don't care.
That funny
Give me
GIF.
a GIF. Give me a meme. Enter to win. Tell your friends to enter to win. See you on the live. Till next time.
Bye.